Behold, Inaros, it's an honor to serve you. The glorious Inaros Warframe, the best frame for all of the things, except for the things they are not the best at. Let me tell you what Inaros is the best at. Having another game mode that only Inaros Prime can access. You can only do Barrow's Void Raider missions if you have an Inaros Prime. That's just knocked it out of the park. Now I know what you're thinking. Inaros must be my favorite Warframe, isn't that right? Well, let's just get it out of the way now. You know exactly why Inaros is at least okay. Your health pool is comically huge, and you can use all sorts of healing methods, especially percent-based healing, to become basically unkillable against any damage that doesn't outright one-shot you. In a game that is usually easy, Inaros makes it trivial, no more troubled by enemy attacks than you would be by a passing fly. But even when Inaros would just be getting outright killed, Inaros also has pretty great crowd control. Yes, Inaros actually has abilities, surprising some people. Pocket Sand is iconic, meme-worthy, and legitimately pretty useful. It's a very large crowd control area of effect that lasts for a reasonably long time with a low energy cost, and it opens enemies to finishers. Finishing enemies one by one is not an efficient way to kill them. That's a waste of time. It's much faster to just shoot them or use normal melee combos, but it's an option for a tankier enemy you're having trouble with, and it still CCs them for a reasonable amount of time. This might not be the most exciting ability in the game, but let's face it, this is Inaros. That's pretty much what you signed up for. It is a good ability. And yeah, Devour and Sandstorm also exist. Inaros is nothing if not thematic. One of the things that these abilities are very good for, despite the fact that they're not very powerful at later levels, is keeping you supported early in the game. If you get Inaros fairly early on, a lot of these abilities are quite solid when enemies are not so powerful and you don't have a lot of mods. So if you're newer to the game, Inaros' kit holds up pretty well without support. Unfortunately, that's because it doesn't get much from having that support, but it doesn't mean that the abilities are themselves bad at base. They just don't scale well, and that could change in the future. Having good mechanics is a great place to start, and I think if a frame is going to have a problem that's going to get fixed later, Inaros has one of the least problematic problems. The numbers are just low on Devour and Sandstorm. They're not really bad abilities, theoretically. And unranked, and without mods, Inaros is very, very good, can rival many other frames. Now, Scarab Swarm, there's an ability. Tankiness, Scarab Swarm targets emit a healing aura. You get status immunity, and therefore knockdown immunity, and therefore self-stagger immunity with the augment for this ability. The list goes on. This is a powerful crowd control tool that continues the spread after firing, heals you and your allies. It's terrible at healing objectives. It can, but it's just not very much healing. But that doesn't matter because it crowd controls half the map, and it, like Pocket Sand, costs a mere 25 energy to cast. What you get in exchange for not having abilities that, do damage or much of anything is that in exchange you get two abilities that can crowd control the entire map for a pittance of energy, which is powerful, and in a game where you have an unlimited arsenal of weapons that can all kill the enemies for you, all you need to do is control crowds when enemies are overwhelming you and stay alive, and Inaros is very, very good at both of those things. Now, I know what you're thinking. Inaros must be my favorite Warframe. Isn't that right?